Do I sound good? Am I using the right mic?
Well, you're live, so.
Yeah, welcome to
good to me.
Downright Annoyed. Welcome
right.
to Downright Annoyed with movies.
It looks like we're not using the countdown clock because my brain's broken. It's been so long since we've
Hell
been
yeah.
on. I am Jackson with the Bored and Annoyed channel here, and we're back, folks. We're
The
back.
dinosaur story.
And you know what's really funny is like thinking about these intros. What the hell was this movie called again?
The night comes for us.
The night comes for us. Okay, so tonight in our episode back, I'm Rusty, folks. My name's Jackson.
No, you're Jackson. You're not Rusty.
Yes, right. But yes, tonight we are discussing the Netflix film. I believe they actually picked up the rights to this one. The Night Comes for Us, Korean action flick. No, Indonesian. Right? Indonesian action flick. I'm so used to the Korean movies.
No, I know. Like Indonesia, man, they make the raid movies. Like they're up and coming. Like the craziest movie.
Indonesian movie starring a couple of the boys from the raid who have popped up quite a bit in recent years. Uwais, what's his first name?
Uwais, yeah.
And Joe Taslim, who I believe was
Sub-Zero.
Yeah, he rules. That dude.
Yeah,
is that both of these guys are like,
and he was also in that new series in San Francisco.
Warrior.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I watched the first episode.
Oh, Jackson,
Excellent.
please go.
Yeah, I know. It's
Please
HBO,
watch.
right? HBO, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, let's do intros. First, we'll send it over to my partner in crime over here with DNP, Mike.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Mike from Downright Annoyed podcast. This is Downright Annoyed with movies, and we're back after a little over a month hiatus. Hope everybody had a good holidays and New Year's. But we're back and rolling, so excited to be back.
And next we'll go to Paul.
Hey, happy to be back and ready to squirm in my seat when we spin the wheel of who gets to argue for and against the movie. But yeah, happy to be back. You can. I don't know, check me out on Instagram. That's pretty much where I'm at these days, other than here.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. And Ryan, we will get your intro. Plus, I believe you picked this movie.
I did.
So you can give us the little bit of synopsis. Correct.
Sure. So I am Ryan from I was about to say Downright Annoyed. That's funny. I am technically part of this, but I am from the Fake Nerd podcast. We've also been on hiatus for a while, but we came back last week with our top 10s of 2021, and we got more stuff coming up the next couple weeks, which I'll tell you about at the end of the show. But I'm glad to be back, and I picked one of the craziest action movies I've ever seen in my entire life, and I wanted to share with you guys, and it is The Night Comes for Us. The film is based on a top organized crime enforcer who decides to turn his back on his former life as a killer to rescue a young girl. And then lots of craziness ensues afterwards. None of you guys have seen this before, I'm assuming.
Nope.
Beautiful. No. I know you guys like action movies because we've done this show for over a year now. How crazy is this movie, you guys?
Yeah. Dude, my first thought, Ryan, watching this was like this, like the action scenes, right?
Yeah,
like the bloody, brutal, like this should have been what Mortal Kombat was like.
That's why they got Joe Taslim. Yeah.
Oh my God. Because I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what everybody walked out of the Mortal Kombat movie like hoping for.
Yeah. It is very much a thing of American action movies simply don't go as far as other countries are willing to go, mostly because they hurt their stuntmen really badly. And labor laws are very different in other countries. But the outcome is unlike anything you really get in America. Like action movies are not like this. It is truly one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in like a positive way. Like truly impressive stuff in this movie.
I was like shocked because I'm sitting here like I watch horror movies, slashers and stuff all the time. Oh, yeah. I saw the new Scream this weekend, and there were a few parts in this that were like pretty parts in that. I'm sorry, that were pretty nasty. And like within like 2 minutes into this movie, it was like, oh well, that's tame, you know. But anyway, I guess spoiler-free expectations of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Mike, we'll start with you. What were you expecting from this? Considering historically seeing these guys and other stuff and just the genre.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a lot of great martial arts like from the Raid. And I was not expecting the amount of crazy violence that preceded, but that's what I expected. I expected to see a good martial arts flick.
Okay,
the Raid is very brutal too.
It is too, yeah, and that's what I was. Then that's the surprising part, right?
Yeah. Paul.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to not like it, and I don't. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it would entertain me or not. So I just kind of went in. I didn't watch a trailer. Just jumped right in, and yeah, same with Mike. I wasn't expecting as much gore, which I think definitely added to the movie. But yeah, it's just martial arts and just kind of go for it.
And of course, Ryan. Had you seen this, Ryan? I didn't get that.
Oh, I
You
saw
had?
it. Like,
Okay.
I literally saw it the day it premiered on Netflix because like I follow these guys and like I love like the craziest martial arts that you can find. So like after the Raid 2 came out, I saw that they were making this, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hop on this immediately. So I saw it the day it came out.
Ryan, is it? It's not Gareth Evans directed the Raid movies, right? He's not involved in this at all. I'm assuming.
No.
Okay, so it's just the two actors with the connection to the Raid. Correct?
Also, there are other. There are also one of the lady assassins is also in the Raid 2.
Okay.
And she has like the best action scene in that movie, and it's cool to see her coming here. So like it's kind of just like the same group just going on to a different director, basically.
Yeah.
I guess I need to back up and say why I immediately said I expected not to like it. I think it's because the subtitles, like me seeing if my brain can adjust and enjoy the movie at the same time, reading subtitles.
Yes, it is. It is not in English. Yeah.
And yeah, so it wasn't an issue.
Luckily, it's mostly an action movie, so there's not a lot of reading.
Right?
Yeah, I was expecting like when I saw like when I looked it up, I was like, oh shit, I've never heard of this. So I was expecting to really like it. I won't get into whether or not that ended up coming true or not until now, where we have our spoiler-free review of the film. We'll go the other way. Ryan, what's your spoiler-free review of this film? I'm assuming you like it quite a bit.
I like this movie a lot. And I can definitely understand it being too brutal for people. But that's the thing. It's not real. So like the fact that it looks as good as it does, and it's like if you just simply don't want to watch something that's brutal, I get that. But the craft behind it, it's the best in the industry. Like it truly is. Like the stunts that are being performed in this movie are insane. And like I can't believe how some of these I made a joke on Twitter of like, yo, people die in these movies, right? Like for real? Because like it's sometimes some of the things they do, I'm like, I don't know how you do this and it not just be all CGI, right? I like the story's fine. I honestly like the story's the weakest part, but like I'm not here for it because once you get into that first action scene, you're like, oh shit, you guys. They're not playing around. Every action scene is insane. I think it's one of the best action movies ever made. It's not one of the best movies ever made, but the action, it is untouchable. It truly is. Like I think like the whole past year of movies, I'm like, no action movie, not that it came out last year, but no action movie tops this movie in terms of like what I'm seeing on screen. Wow.
You really have to go to your point, Ryan, like you're not going to find it in America.
Yeah. It's almost like it's a weird analogy, but it's like, like you go to the dark web for like dark stuff, right? Like snuff films, like gross stuff, shit like that. I'm like America is very like sanitary. Even like John Wick is pretty brutal, but John Wick is like child's play to this movie, right? Like, I think the to make this type of movie, you have to really go for it and believe in it, and I think just everyone does, and I think it's excellent.
Sweet. And Paul, spoiler-free review.
Yeah, absolutely worth checking out. It's not what we keep talking about the gore, and some people might jump to like the cheesy gore of, someone gets their hand cut off and, 6 gallons of blood squirts out. And they didn't do that. I thought that the martial arts and the fighting and the gore was really well done. If I had to complain about anything, it would be, I think that they fell short by cutting some of the fight scenes in the sense of the same fight scene being chopped up. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting fight scenes that were longer without cuts would be one of the shortcomings of it. But definitely worth checking out. I mean, who doesn't have, or at least know somebody with a Netflix account? So hop it in and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And Mike?
Yeah, I agree with both of them. The action is incredible. Ryan, I agree that the story is probably the weakest point, which probably still makes me rank the Raid movies above this.
Oh yeah,
because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the action is absolutely incredible. If you're looking for some fun, just straight brutal action, yeah, check this out.
And I will say, if people have seen the Raid and they never saw the Raid 2, Honestly, The Raid 2 is like this movie, but better. Like The Raid 2 is a great action movie, and I think the story, it's really involved and complicated, but really good and serves the characters and the action. So like those are probably better movies, but I think the action in this movie is better than those.
Ironically, I Tarantino'd the Raid movies. I actually watched the Raid 2 first and then went back.
Interesting. So you saw,
yeah. And I thought it was great. They were both fine.
Yeah, they're both.
That,
yeah.
That happened to my old co-host too. Actually,
Oh, really?
The Raid Redemption. He just thought it was the sequel. It was. I was like,
yeah, that's
what
actually
about the Raid 2? Yeah, but anyway, okay, so I love the blood and guts in this. I don't think that the action scenes were as good as those movies, even because I felt like the choreography and like this one felt more like there were moments where I'm like, I could put it together almost like when I watch the prequels where it's like, okay, well, they practice these moves. Whereas to me, the Raid feels much faster. Like
more natural.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
But I will say it, like starting this movie off like 10-15 minutes in, I was kind of like sitting there like concerned, like, oh, did they just like make a knockoff Raid movie?
And then he shoves the glass into the dude's face.
Dude, and then all of a sudden, like I started because the first two, it's like, okay, is this going to be like a weird, complicated story? They're like switching from all these characters or whatever. And then I kind of did the thing I did with the Asian Western we watched, where it's like, oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm overthinking this. It's just a guy who decided to turn good because he wanted to save this girl, and that's all that matters. And that really is all that matters in the movie.
It does feel like they're trying to do a John Wick with like, you know, the seedy underworld, and there's like its own stuff. So like it is trying to do, I think, a little more story than it needs to, which I think is the one detractor. But again, like the story's not why I come to this movie, right?
I agree.
It is 90% action.
I agree. I had fun. You know, one thing you mentioned about the Raid 2, and we can get off the Raid movies, but like when you were just talking about
I'll just pick the Raid next time.
The Raid 2 is like, I would never say it's better than the first, right? But I do think that it's like one of those perfect sequels where it takes the small contained story of the first one and kind of adds elements to it to make it a bigger world.
Oh yeah.
So I would love to see a sequel to this movie.
See, like I would have loved, like, because I thought about picking like the Raid or Raid 2, but like I didn't want to pick the Raid 2 because I want us to watch the first Raid, but then I didn't want to have to pick the first Raid because I'd want to watch the second one too. So like I just picked the one that's separate. And also you guys haven't seen this one, so that's another positive.
That's trouble with this show. It's tough when you want to watch a sequel and you can't really pick it. You don't feel like you should. But I guess everybody seemed to have liked it, right? I mean, that's the consensus here. But anyways, let's talk spoilers now. And you know, Ryan, you kind of already went over the plot. As far as spoilers are concerned,
not really.
Outside of like, I guess okay, one thing you can go off on that's kind of interesting is that the beginning of the movie, like the first act, kind of introduces you to Taslim's crew. And
I like those guys too.
Right. And so did I. And I was shocked that they got dispatched of like within the first 40 minutes of the movie. I mean, the whole movie really like revolves around like 3 action set pieces, essentially. And I was shocked too at like between action scenes in this movie, there's like a minute and a half of like character building dialogue stuff.
Yeah, it's very much like crazy action. We got to settle down and talk about the story just a little bit, but not too much because we don't really care that much. Back to the action.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, Ryan gave the kind of general breakdown of the plot, right? But the plot is essentially that there's this main character who he has spent Ito has spent like the past X amount of years of his life as an enforcer for what's the name of the gang again? I forget. The Triads. The Triads, right? Yeah. So they have these 6 guys who are like their big dog enforcer types who go in and they like basically enforce the rules of the Triads, right? So in this example, one person from this village is skimming off the top of their drug business, and the Triads send him in with like a crew to basically slaughter all these people. And over the course of this opening of the movie, main character decides like, I don't want to do this anymore. He saves this little girl. And then essentially the film from there is a English speaking gangster, which I thought was interesting.
There's also Chinese, like it's a multicultural movie. Which is really cool.
Yeah, so they're basically on the hunt to not only kill Joe Taslim's character, but kill the little girl, because you don't do that shit to the triads without
like
everybody
no
going down.
survivors, no
No
one
loose
can speak
ends.
about it. Yeah,
Right.
They're brutal about that kind of stuff.
So from there, I mean, there's Ego Uwais or whatever his name is. I always forget his first name. But
in the movie, he's Aryan.
Right. And Aryan is this character in the movie, and essentially you kind of get the backstory of both of them and their group of friends and how they were pretty tight-knit back in the day. There were fractions. It basically becomes his character versus Joe Taslim in the movie. What was interesting too was, like, I was expecting Uwais's character to kind of come around to Taslim's side.
He does for a second. Yeah.
For a second, but then the opposite happens, right?
Yeah.
And it's like he's been like wanting this like he wants entry and he wants to be accepted. It was how I took it, into this crew so badly that like everything else doesn't matter.
And it feels like, because he's been on this journey with Ito for so long, that like he feels betrayed by his brother. And like, again, like the story isn't super deep, but I think it gives you just enough where like you do care about these characters. And like I did,
Sure.
I like when White Bobby like died, like that dude was crazy. I like that guy. And then
that was my favorite character.
Dude, what a crazy dude. And then Fatih, like trying to save Reina, and like there's a beautiful shot where he has like the gun and like the gun's on, like the camera's on the gun. I'm like, Fatih, I hope you don't die. And he gets riddled with bullets. I'm like, man, they're killing everyone. It's crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's the plot. Now we do have in our list here of things we usually talk about, theme, acting, and dialogue. I'm not sure, you know, it's there, I guess.
I mean, there's themes of like, you know, of like family betrayal, like, you know, do what you think the right thing is, you know, like, can you be redeemed after being a monster for so long? But like, again, it's not really, that's John Wick stuff.
Right.
We're not diving into that really. Like, again, it is there. So like, I don't want to diminish it, but it's there just enough where like I'm not mad that there's not more, but I don't want there to be any more. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy with exactly what I got, because otherwise it would have been like a worse Raid 2, and I didn't want that.
Yeah. So I guess we've hijacked this from Mike and Paul. Mike, what
you guys are doing such a great job though.
Mike's like, I'm gonna get a cigar. I'm gonna get a cigar. Just chill.
There's a lot of plot, but there are like 6 incredible action scenes with like little action scenes in all of them. So like we don't have to talk about the plot, but like what is your favorite action scene in the movie? Because it could be literally any scene in the movie and I'd believe it.
I think I personally liked the one where he goes into the butcher shop.
I love that one.
Dude, that is so good. It's so crazy.
That's what I was about to say.
Mike, so you agree? We're in
I agree. That was my favorite one. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fucking nuts right here.
Yeah. Paul, did you have a favorite action scene in the movie?
I think when the 3 chicks were fighting.
Oh, dude, I can't tell you how much I love that scene.
Because it had some of the best injuries and deaths. So those are some of my favorite.
Dude, so you had the girl with the piano wire swinging thing, right? That is such a cool weapon. She can like slice people's like necks and arms off. The evil assassin puts the thing around the good assassin's finger, and she chops it almost in half, and she just rips it off. Yeah. And I'm like, that's the baddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You kidding me?
Yeah.
What's the name of Joe Taslim's buddy character who's like unkillable until the very last?
Yeah, that's Bobby, right?
White Bobby. Yeah.
I love that dude. That dude was so much.
Yeah, he was my favorite.
He was a great character.
Again, like it gives you just enough into the backstory of how like they screwed over Bobby, and Bobby Bobby went to jail for them, and then when he comes out, they treat him like shit, and he's just like this drug addict now, and I'm like I could see why he's so mad, and like, oh, well, all this stuff happens, but at the end of the day, he's still a nice person, and he wants to help his friends no matter how much they screwed him over. And I'm like, man, they didn't have to go that far with it. There's like a flashback near the end of the movie that explains this stuff that honestly didn't have to be in the movie. But I do think adds a little bit to the character. I think it works well that it's so later in the movie, because then you realize, oh man, they've gone through so much together and so much time has passed, and they're so far from where their friendship used to be.
That's a good point to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Would the movie be better if the backstory wasn't told in flashbacks and it kind of started with them like in their, like, you know what I mean? When
like
they were kind of a crew. Like, yeah, because
I don't think it's necessary. I think, again, because it's not pivotal to the plot, I think the one flashback that's like when they're young and Bobby's still clean looking, like that is the only scene you really need to understand how they got to where they are, I think.
Right. So my point on that would be like, I'm watching that and they're already dead.
Yeah.
So any emotional attachment I would have had to the character, like additional emotional attachment I would have had for the characters when they died, like you've already, the time is gone.
That's fair.
But
That's a fair point,
if the movie doesn't care about that, which I mean, it was fun. Then I guess it doesn't matter, right? Maybe they're not trying to make like a dramatic 2.5 hour long movie, so that's why. I think that
scene, while good, I think it is maybe misconstrued in a way, because like it's supposed to support Bobby more, but really it's focusing on our two main characters and how they're like, this is the pinnacle of their friendship, and like we're gonna do this thing together that is gonna bind us. And I guess that kind of throws Bobby under the bus because he is already dead. So that is a very good point. But I do think that scene is necessary. Maybe just Bobby didn't have to be in it.
Yeah,
you need to show that they're like, yo, man, we're in this together. The 60s. This is our dream. We're gonna do this, baby. And then they're about to kill each other.
Yeah. So you're saying the point of that scene, you could cut that shorter and just basically focus on the two main characters and show that they actually have a history. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Bobby's already dead. So like the emotional thing is like, oh, I don't feel that anymore. So that's a good point.
It's like, oh, there's poor Bobby that we saw brutally fucking killed 10 minutes ago in the movie. Dude, the other thing too is like, I think the one, Mike, our scene, right, is like one of it's like maybe the second or third fight scene in the movie.
Something like that.
And I'm sitting there watching that scene and I'm like, how are they going to top this throughout
this
the
movie?
This is
a finale in other movies.
Exactly. Yeah, and they did. I mean, the final fight.
I think what makes that scene so good is that it's not even the best like, you know, it's like it's not the final battle scene, you know.
Yeah,
it's just one of those mid-tier scenes that you just think about the entire movie, and you're like
the bone saw.
Well, that's
just
it too. Is you're like watching this movie and you're just like, you know, this is ridiculous. That bone saw would totally slip. Something would happen, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a movie where somebody literally takes a bone, like breaks it in half, and he's like stabbing like a pig's femur into one dude's eye and the other guy. Like it's like,
very creative.
I sent a message to these guys like 25 minutes into the movie, and I'm like, I can't remember any action martial arts movie I have ever seen.
Yeah.
That has ever been this violent and like grotesque. And I mean, the blood, I'm assuming, like it looked like real blood. To Paul's point, like there wasn't like fingers like spraying, but like somebody got their carotid artery cut, and it was like, you know, and it looked awesome. Like
the amount
everything
of like
looked awesome in this,
like shotgun shots to the face.
Oh my god,
you see it like literally a dozen times in this movie. I'm just watching it going, holy shit, holy shit. It's like it really is like, it is visceral in a ways that you just don't see in Hollywood movies.
Dude, like to Ryan, the shotgun blast I'm picturing in particular, like I'm struggling to figure out how they even did it.
Fight scene.
Oh my god! That's another one.
He's got the ball.
Dude, he rips. Okay, so there's a pocket, a billiards table, a pool table in this room, and there's a pocket that has like 3 or 4 balls in it. He literally rips it off and turns it into a weapon and just starts beating these people in the face with it. And like the camera is on him, to the point where like they were showing so much stuff that like it was a dead giveaway that he actually didn't shoot the other character in that one scene when they didn't show it. It's like, well, why aren't they showing this? He's clearly alive. He didn't shoot him.
Again, I'm trying to think of like I think the last movie really that like impacted me this way with action really might be like The Raid 2, like for real, which came out a couple years before this one. The fight scene with the 3 girls I really like a lot. I like those characters. I always love. First of all, I just love seeing like women in action movies, because like, first of all these ladies are professional martial artists. They're doing all their own stunts. The white girl with like the black hair who's the good assassin, her name's Julia Estelle. She's like a like top tier martial artist, and she's now becoming like a like Hollywood action star. And I'm like, she is so cool. I want her to prevail. Like I think every action scene in this movie is good. I don't have a problem with any of them.
Can we talk about her character? I'm kind of unclear who sent her after the 6. Who hired her?
No, she's part of them. She's part of them, and then
she turned to them.
She turns, she also turns when she sees the girl.
There's the one scene. It's not even just the girl, right? Because she has that scene where she's like, "Hey, I was told to kill the 6 C's." So the way you answer this question right now is going to affect what I do, because, and I took that as like, okay, well, if you're not one of the 6 C's anymore, then aren't.
She's like a private contractor probably or something.
Okay. Yeah.
I think her name is like the contractor or something like that. Yeah.
Right. And I was just wondering, and maybe I'm just looking too far into this. Like, is there some world building going on where there's like some unseen guy? Right. Mike's shaking his head. Yeah.
No, I think Mike's right. Her name is the operator. I think she might just be like a third party that we don't get enough information on. That is, I guess.
Well, that's your sequel. Yeah. That's your sequel right there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's probably going to be a prequel.
Yeah. I did like her character though.
Yeah,
I liked her, and I liked the blonde chick too. I thought she was.
They all have like a really good presence, and like the girl with the piano wire whip, she's just insane. She's an insane lady. And the way she throws it around some dude's neck and just like rips his neck open. I'm like, I've never seen that happen in an action movie before. That's insane.
It's totally one of those movies where like all the people who are going to stick around a little bit, like, or you'll get to know it all, like, right away, because you have like the characters who don't even have to speak, and that's a character, and then you have like the foot soldiers, right?
It's like an anime. It's like an anime. Like you have your regular dudes, and then you have your one like dude who looks nothing like the other people. I'm like,
they're the red shirts. Important. They're the red shirts of this world. Correct.
Yeah. When she dies from the air conditioners, probably my favorite death.
Ooh.
Oh my god!
And then the knife through the arm and it gets dragged between the bones is probably next. That happened afterward. I cringed. I felt that too. Those are my two favorite. Well, the one wasn't a death.
That you're not even watching you're not even watching a horror movie, and it's giving you like that. And I'm just sitting there like big giddy. I'm just one of those sick fucks. who's like smiling through like crazy. It's just a blast.
I love like movie magic, right? And like, big special effects like Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, I know that's all in special effects, right?
Right.
This movie, these people worked their asses off for months to make sure this was the most insane action movie. And like, there's not a bad take in here, man. Every punch looks real. Again, I'm convinced some people like had to have gotten really hurt in this movie. There's no way.
Oh man, when he kicks
some of the kicks,
the metal with his, and it just smashes his shin when he kicks that big support beam. I felt that one too.
I was like, usually they put a pad on there, but I believe he was just like, I'm just gonna kick this thing, and whatever happens, happens. He did it for the movie.
All right, so other topics on here. I thought the cinematography was good. Like,
yes, I thought it was exceptional.
All the rooms, everything looked cool. I thought, everything looked the feng shui and the
cinematography, man. I mean, like a lot of times with martial arts, you sometimes, a lot of movies, they don't capture the movements the way that like this movie did. Mm-hmm. The cameraman, whoever they hired, did an incredible job.
Yeah, Ryan, did you like when before the women? I think it was before the women got into it, started fighting rather, that the little fly thing on the wall had the one just go in and zap, like that little moment of silence.
Yeah, it's a nice little moment. Yeah, the cinematography is like, it's better than it should be for this movie. Like, this movie could have just rode on the action, but again, like there are a couple scenes that I'm like, that's artsy as shit. What's going on here? Amazing.
It is an artsy movie, I would say, overall.
Surprisingly, for like, again, how brutal it is. Like, it manages to have like some flair to it. I think the final action scene between our two like leads is just insane. Ever since I watched Ip Man and I saw a guy go, boo, 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 and I was like, that's my favorite thing I've ever seen in my life. So anytime anyone does that, when Aryan is doing that to Ito, I'm like, this is what dreams are made of, you guys. Doing 6 punches in 2 seconds. It's amazing.
Dude, the fight ends with them both with like sharp objects and hitting each other in the face with them.
I'm convinced that like that just happened. He landed on tax for the movie, because I'm like, it looks too real, man.
It was so gross.
Like half of this was just improv, and they're just going home bloodied.
Yeah.
Well, it's like to your point, Ryan. There is an art to it though, because it's like, okay, they devised that scene, right? And I'm sure they're sitting down and they're like, okay, what cool, brutal shit can we do to end this scene? I got it. How about we have a pair of some box cutters get stuck in a guy's cheek, and he has to break them off? Yeah, and I'm like, that was a hell of an effect. That was a hell of an effect.
We've all been watching movies for so long, and like, it takes a lot for me to go like, oh shit. And like, this movie did it constantly. Like I'm so surprised that I'm so glad movies can still make me feel that way.
Yeah. And CGI has gotten to the point, like, where special effects don't do it anymore. Yeah. Like I can't remember the last time. I mean, shit, all these big budget, $200 million plus movies. Like, when's the last time you sat down and you were like, wow, that
I'll
is like not like something I saw 3 weeks ago.
I'll
You know
tell
what I
you,
mean?
it's one part of Shang-Chi.
Okay.
It's the
Do
bus
tell.
scene.
Go for it.
It's the,
Yeah,
no, it's the,
right,
it's
but
the
that's
bus scene in Shang-Chi. That's an actual martial arts scene
sure.
with there are special effects involved, but like it is mostly that is the one scene in the entire movie where it is martial arts focused. The finale of that movie is huge and bombastic, not about martial arts anymore.
Right. Well, no,
But, like,
and the martial arts scene, that was actually one of my favorite scenes in any Marvel movie.
It's awesome, dude.
And it has nothing to do with what's going on around the characters.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's where I'm sure Shang-Chi, I mean, there were a couple like known actors, but I'm sure most of that money goes into making the world.
The big
right?
giant dragon at the end of that movie.
Yeah, and like when that movie ended, that's a perfect example of like I would much rather have had an extended fight between him and his father than have the big giant dragon monster.
That is my
makes me fall asleep.
That is my my review of Shang-Chi. Pretty cool until the end of that movie where it loses all focus of
Right.
emotional value.
Right. No, and this movie this movie is just all built on realistic looking badass shit.
Yeah.
One thing in this list of things we go over that I did not like in the movie, I thought the music wasn't pumping me up during these.
Oh yeah, it's totally serviceable until the very end. The very end shot I love, and the music that kicks in when he's driving at the end. That's the only part where the music works for me. But I agree. Like I didn't even think about the music for
me neither.
Right. Well, that's
like just thinking about it. I'm like, I don't even remember
exactly
at all.
Well, and like that Shang-Chi scene that Ryan just quoted, like when I was watching that, they had that bumping like electronic music going, and I'm like, I'm ready to get in there and get my ass kicked. You know,
the very first action scene in this movie with Aryan going to the gangster or whatever. That is the only time where he does a kick and it goes do. But that's like a 2-minute fight scene. So that is the only time that the movie is really pumping, and then the rest it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Wouldn't the music have overpowered the sounds and stuff that for this movie?
I mean, you can have it
subtracted from it.
You can have it in like the background, right?
You
can lay the sounds were a little goofy too at times. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't need like the wind sound of the fist flying through the air with heavy.
I appreciate that just because it's super silly. Because like he's punching so fast.
Yeah, these like
breaking the sound barrier.
Sounds like Mach 2 when he's throwing a punch. But
I mean, it's not as egregious as Transporter, but yeah.
Oh.
You know, I want to see the Asian remake of the Transporter with this style of action.
I can already tell you it's going to be 10 times better.
Oh my god!
Right, exactly. Yeah, because like plot wise, I don't think that this is that much worse or better. Than
he's literally transporting a girl in that movie too.
Yes, that sounds interesting.
This is basically the Transporter, you guys.
Yeah, right. This is like the good Transporter, but anything else as far as spoiler discussions? What did you think of the ending? I guess
I love the ending. I love that both of our characters don't make it out of it. I think that's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's also very tragic. The way Aryan goes out, like he just lost his best friend, and he doesn't even have the strength to kill him like he wanted to. So then he gets taken out, but he goes out. He's got to like puff up his suit, and he's like, "I'm ready, baby, kill me." And then in the opposite way, Ito is like, I'm going out fighting for my very life. And like, I think it is a very powerful ending with him just screaming, and then it cuts to black with the music playing. Cause you know, he's going to die. It's like, if you've seen Rob Zombie's, Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a similar ending where like, it's vague, but you know, he's dead.
Until they come back for 3 from Hell, right?
Nah, it's true. I haven't seen it yet. So they're still dead in my mind. Is that good? Is that movie good?
No, it's terrible.
Damn it. Then I'm not going to watch it. I like the ending a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, what'd you think of the ending?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Makes you wonder. I mean, you know what happens to him, but I don't know what happens to the girl. Do they find her?
Yeah. So I guess real quick, what happens at the end is like he's like mortally wounded. I'm assuming he's bleeding out. And he has the passports for the little girl and himself to get on this boat and leave. And he just sends her and, basically drives his car towards 40 people with machine guns and dies. Yeah. I mean, cool. it was nice ending, I would say. Mike, you're the last one. Sure.
I love the ending. I thought it was great. I mean, just everything that Ryan touched on, Paul. I mean, it is risky doing an ending like this that I don't think many American movies would take.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And
It would have been
That's
a
a great
happy
point.
ending. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great point, Mike. The riskiness. Like I was sitting there thinking, like, God, as I was watching this, I'm like, God, American, we just don't have any balls in our movie.
Because everybody in America wants sequels. They want it to
They
be
want-
a trilogy. They want it to be a franchise. But this is a movie that has a beginning, middle, and end.
And you know, there are those independent, and that's like, I guess my public service announcement is like, I know we complain a lot about movies in America, but like, watch if you don't like the fact that everything's a Marvel movie, then support the ones that aren't, right? So it's like, like this movie, I didn't look up the budget. I bet it wasn't like a ridiculously
I bet you it's
insane
hella
budget.
low.
They just want to make a little bit of money and make their artistic thing. It's not about making $600 million, right? So that does exist in America, but not to this level. I mean, holy shit, this was crazy. So
yeah, the thing like, it's a good point. And not to, I don't want to talk about this too long, but like, it's something I've been struggling with the last couple of years of like, I'm a huge comic book Marvel like, I love all that shit, but like sometimes it feels like they're serving me products instead of art. And like, especially this last year of Marvel movies, I didn't like a lot of the Marvel movies. Like, there's 4, and I thought they were all whatever. I thought they're fine to whatever. And like, for me, that sucks because like I live and breathe that shit, right? So like, something like The Green Knight comes out, and I'm like, no, this can still happen. This can still happen. I see Scream. I think the new Scream's awesome. Yeah, and I'm like,
fun.
okay, they can still, with the right people, like this can still happen.
I mean, that also translates to TV too. I mean, like we saw Midnight Mass, right?
My favorite thing of last year.
I don't know if any of you have seen Silent Sea. I thought that was great.
I binged it in one day, Mike. I loved it.
Did you like it? Yeah.
I loved it.
That's another thing, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's not just regulated to movies. It's stretching everywhere.
Everybody does need to watch Midnight Mass. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, if I can watch it, then you have time too. If I can find the time, you can. I need to.
You finished it, Paul?
Yeah, I did. I'm waiting for us to all get together finally. And I'm curious.
Right.
I don't think. Did we ever hear what Ken and Mike thought of Green Knight?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine. I was misled when I was watching the trailer, so
that's fair. Yeah.
It screwed up my experience. But
you can appreciate
after I
that
thought I thought long and hard about it for like a good month and a half afterwards.
Yeah,
and I want to watch it again. It just came out on streaming, so I might watch it again.
Yeah, that is a movie ruined by marketing.
That's probably one of those movies that will be better on repeated viewings, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. What about Lamb?
Okay,
I haven't seen it.
I was let down by Lamb, dude, and that's like my shit. I love.
Are you talking about Lamb, or are you talking about Pig?
Lamb.
No, Lamb. Pig is
Lamb.
awesome.
Pig's great. Lamb was very disappointing. I mean, Lamb was like watchable for a weirdo like me that likes that like weird, you know. But I was not. I was like, when I saw the trailer, I was actually with Paul in Chicago the first time I saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh my god, this is it. This looks incredible. And then I was like, oh, it's kind of a snooze fest. So.
You know what's funny is I haven't watched it yet, but like every single person who I trust about movies is saying like, nah, this one isn't the one.
No, yeah.
Like A24 is usually like 10 out of 10 hits, but like this one's kind of a flop a little bit. Like, yeah, okay.
No, you're better off.
There's one that just came out with Denzel. Macbeth. Yeah, has anyone seen it?
Not yet, but like the trailer is insane, dude.
I want to see it so freaking bad.
Yeah. Looks good.
All right.
Anyway,
it is. I guess it's time for the Mike. If you have it up,
I do.
It's time for the Devil's Advocate game.
I hate this so much.
No,
someone's gonna have to say this is the greatest film ever made, and somebody's gonna have to say it's the worst. And I think everyone has their work cut out for them because I don't think it's either of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
it's gonna be a trying one.
This one's the best, right? All right, Jackson.
Shit.
All right.
It's really hard when you like a movie.
Yeah.
And you know what? I hope people watch this movie if they haven't seen it. If they somehow found this movie, if they found this channel. Yes, thank God.
Thank God.
I had such a terrible outing last time. I like literally froze, and I couldn't say a single word, and it just 30 seconds went by so quickly.
This was your idea.
I know, right?
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Because you're going first. Let me get the timer out. And 30 seconds on the clock. Ready, go.
I am obsessed with gore. I love horror movies. That's my favorite genre. I have never seen anything quite as shocking as whatever this movie was called. It is the bloodiest good time you will have at home watching a movie this year. It's got awesome action in it. There's probably only about 20 cumulative minutes where people aren't kicking and punching each other. And that's my favorite, is to watch blood, guts, and action. So if that's your bag, watch this movie.
All right, I'm going to go. All right, Jackson, you just said it. There's only 20 minutes where there's just talk, nothing but action. There's no story whatsoever. It's just, the story's kind of bland. The action is okay. The action is pretty damn good. I can't really say too much. That I don't know what to say. I like this movie, but don't watch it because there's just too much blood. Why can't everyone just get along? It's just so sad that people just can't get along.
It's fair.
I'm not gonna
I gave you a layup, Mike.
I was gonna say, Mike, you could have. I think you were heading in the right direction for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just you gotta believe in yourself more.
I don't, because I like this movie.
Well, it makes me happy then, I guess.
All right.
Yeah, Jackson,
right.
You got this one. Yeah.
All right, so I won. Is that
yeah.
All right. I might be undefeated, by the way, in this game.
Might be.
I might be.
Oh man, we should track that.
Oh, hey, Solo Wookiee's in the chat, so that means that he gets a spot on the wheel as audience.
Woo! Hey, if you haven't seen this movie, Solo, and you want to watch a great action movie, watch it. The night comes for us.
Oh, yeah. Captain Comics was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still
I
in
lost
or not.
sound, by the way, everybody. So.
All right, so for next week.
Oh, we're already doing it. Oh,
I have it back.
Hey, welcome back. Oh, please don't. Okay, good. Paul!
Nope.
No! Oh! No! I'm not prepared. You guys vamp for a second.
He's going to go to the DVD rack.
No, I'm going to my 7 streaming services right here.
Oh my gosh.
I really didn't think I was going to win. This is awful.
We forgot to do grades.
No,
yeah.
We'll vamp with grades. So Ryan, take your time.
Cool, beautiful.
I'll give it a B+, a very slow B+. So Ryan has the time to pick a movie because he wins every week.
Every week,
so why wouldn't he know that it was going to be his turn to pick the movie? I don't know.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? So I'm going to rattle off the last 10 movies. Who picked the last 10 movies? So this week it's Ryan. Last week was Ryan. Then it was me. Then it was me. Then it was Ryan. Then it was the genre wheel. Then it was me. Then it was me. Then it was Ryan.
Oh, shit.
Genre wheel.
I didn't think of this.
That's hilarious.
Paul, what's your grade?
Yeah, I give it a B+. Yeah, I can go
B+.
there. I feel like if you don't like it, if you think you don't like it, it's one of the movies that after you watch it, you will like it more as you remember certain scenes, especially if you watch it with your buddies and you meet up a while later and you're like, yeah, it would, and it comes up in conversation, then you can be like, yeah, that kill was amazing. And you want to come over and help me install my air conditioner on the second floor?
Yeah, it's definitely, if you don't like blood and gore, it's an F.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
It's not a Valentine's Day movie.
No.
Yeah, like that first action scene that's like 10 minutes in, like immediately, oh, this is for me or it's not for me because it's immediately gory. Yeah. I will give this movie. Oh, sorry. So go ahead. No, sorry. I didn't realize.
I'm going to give it a solid B.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. Really good. What's your grade, Ryan?
I give it a B+.
B.
Doesn't quite make it like to the raid like story levels, but I think the action carries pretty much all of it.
That's what Ken gave it too, right?
B+, yep.
Yep, he gave it a B+ as well. So what are we watching, Ryan?
All right, guys. I watched this movie once and I absolutely loved it, so I wanted an excuse to watch it again. It's 2018's Upgrade, directed by Lee Winnell.
Ooh.
Yes! Thank God!
What's it called? Sorry.
Upgrade.
I've
the
seen
best
it.
The best Venom movie ever made.
The best what?
Venom movie ever made. About symbiotes.
Movie.
I'm so excited to watch this.
And it just happens to have fake Tom Hardy as the star.
Is it symbiotes or symbiotes?
Don't do this to me.
You haven't seen this one, you guys?
I remember the trailer. What company produced this?
I'll tell you in a hot second. It is
There's literally, so I just went to images, and literally in the third
Blumhouse.
row is the guy, whoever the main character is, with Venom behind him.
That's the
hilarious.
yep. Because this came out around the same time Venom did, and one of these movies is
Yeah, it's the poor
significantly
man.
better. than the other.
Tom Hardy.
He is. He's the poor
Interesting.
man's Tom Hardy too. He
Yeah.
like
But he's
looks
pretty
like
good.
Tom Hardy. Oh, I like him. I've liked him in a lot of things actually. He's
Skinny
like
Tom
one
Hardy.
of those guys. Yeah.
Dan Hardy. Whatever
Dan
three-letter
Hardy.
name I can think of.
Is this on Netflix? Yes.
It's funny. I know a Dan Hardy, Paul.
I'm not sure.
He does
Yeah,
look
it's
like
on
Tom
Netflix.
Hardy, though. Jesus. Are they related?
Nope.
Wait. No,
It's on
not
HBO.
Netflix.
I think it's on
Never
HBO.
mind.
Is it like Ewan McGregor and David Gray or whoever, some other
Oh, the
guys
Wedge
who look like
Antilles guy.
Wedge Antilles.
Yeah, they're actually
Cool.
related. But anyway, yeah. So we got.
Are they
our
related?
grades.
Or are you kidding me?
We are. So no. Wedge Antilles from Star Wars is related to Ewan McGregor. That
Oh, yeah.
So next week, hang on. Actually, Mike, take it away for just a moment.
Yeah, no
great.
problem. So next week we are going to be watching Upgrade 2018, courtesy of this guy once again. I think we're
Look at the
going
draw.
to let's go around the horn and just say our goodbyes, because we do have some goodbyes, right? Let's start with the man of the hour.
It's me. I'm the man of the hour. Hey guys, Ryan from the Fake Nerd Podcast. We are going live in a couple hours, maybe, who knows, between 7 to 10 o'clock. We are going to be talking about The Matrix and the Animatrix. We're going to be spending the next couple of weeks talking about everything Matrix related, because The Matrix Resurrections came out last month, and every one of us binged all the Matrix movies, and we haven't talked about it. So we're going to talk about it for the next month. So if you like The Matrix, stop by. If you don't, get lost.
Cool. What's up, Paul?
Hey, my name's Paul. You can find me on these fine gentlemen's channels for our movie reviews, as well as on Instagram at Paul's Problems. And I might have some cool something coming up. I don't know. Somebody reached out to me, so I can't say anything other than that.
Ooh.
Well, that's just a big tease.
So yeah, so follow me
NFT.
to find out.
Paul's a professional. I am Jackson. You can find me right here or next week over at Mike's channel to discuss Upgrade, a very fun movie, by the way.
I'm excited to watch it for the first time.
Have you guys seen The Invisible Man, the new one?
Yes. With what's her face? Yeah.
It's the only new Invisible Man movie that's come out.
Yeah. It came out like right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, it's the same director. So if you saw that movie, it's the same guy, but you didn't see that either. So never mind.
All right,
Was
so
The
we could
Invisible
pick that
Man good?
movie. That
Was
was
the
a
new one
good. It was
It
good.
awesome. It was great.
Yeah, I liked it.
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out.
But yeah, all right. Well, hey, thank you everybody. And Mike, you should have seen that Mr. Universal Monsters, man. Come on, dude.
I know,
You
right?
see
I'm
that?
a little disappointed in myself.
It's
right now.
excellent.
Yeah.
You should just watch it anyway because it's awesome.
It is awesome. But anyways, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. Have a good one.
The night comes for us.
That's the name of the movie.
Yeah. Dudes kick the shit.